Okay, sorry about that. Chairman, are we ready to start? Hello?
Hi, this is Candace French Contreras.
Hi. Did we lose the chairman?
I don't know. I just got let in to the meeting.
Can you guys not hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes, I'm here.
we can get started. Good morning. My name is Ana Armenta. I am the Arizona Racing Commission Secretary. Today is November 9th, 2023. This is the 717th Arizona Racing Commission regular meeting taking place via Google Meet. I will take roll call. Chairman Coolidge, Vice Chair Olson,
Present.
Commissioner French Contreras,
I'm here.
Commissioner York.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. The time is 10:08 a.m. and the floor is yours, Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll call to order the 717th Arizona Racing Commission meeting of Thursday, November 9th, 2023. Moving into action items B1, the informational notification of OTB permit application change of ownership approval. Mr. Duncan or Mr. Director, do you have any updates on that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. This is just an informational notification of an owner change for Farley's OTB and Globe. All the documentation was sent to the commissioners in the packet. This facility has been approved by the commission previously and has been used by Turf. The department just wanted to inform the commission that the new owners have been licensed by the department. The department also did do an inspection on October 25th. We also, as a department, will be revisiting them in late November after they get established and double check them again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for my commissioners? Doesn't seem like we need a formal vote on this, just that it is a notification should anyone have any questions upon it. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. We'll move to action item B2, the simulcast agreement pursuant to ARS 5-112U. Looks like Turf Paradise 1 through 3. Looking through these, looks like we have everything in order. Mr. Duncan, do you have anything to add to these?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have any updates on those items.
Okay. Any questions from my commissioners?
No.
No, thank you.
Okay. I'll move that we approve the simulcast agreements 1 through 3 for Turf Paradise.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, may I be heard, please?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
On this particular matter, for Turf Paradise, A1, 2, and 3, I recommend that the commission give a contingent approval based on the AHBPA's meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. if they extend the signal beyond November 12th.
Director, this is Candace.
Okay.
Can you expand on that?
And just for the record, that's why I asked the department earlier, but appreciate you jumping in, Director.
Yes, Commissioner, the reason behind this is the HBPA's current simulcast import approval is only through November 12th. Now, the race dates for Del Mar Fairgrounds and Turfway go beyond November 12th. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., the AHPA will be hosting a meeting with their board to determine whether they will extend the simulcast agreement beyond November 12th. So if they do not, then they cannot take these signals. So I will be notified immediately after the HBPA meeting tomorrow. President Yoder will be getting a hold of me to let me know how the board votes on this matter. So my recommendation is that if the commission is going to approve it contingent on the HBPA's decision.
Okay, I'll go ahead and retract my motion.
Chair, I have a question.
Any other
for
questions?
Director.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Director Casillas, just one point of clarification. You're asking that B2, or you're recommending that B2, A1 through 3 is contingent rather than B3 contingent on the approval of the Horseman Group? I just want to make sure I'm understanding your recommendation.
The recommendation kind of goes hand in hand without B2A and B3. So I just want to apprise the commission that it should be contingent on the HBPA approvals.
Any other discussion on the matter? Okay, I'll go ahead and move that we approve Turf Paradises 1 through 3 contingent upon the Arizona HBPA's approval and leave it to the department to proceed or deny at that point.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Chair Coolidge and a second by Commissioner York. I will call roll. Chair Coolidge,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner French Contreras,
Yes.
Commissioner York.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, thank you. That motion passes with conditional approval.
And we'll drop down to B3, the simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to the IHA section 3004A3 in congruency to the B2 item. I'll go ahead and move that we approve Turf Paradises 1 through 3, condition that they receive all the prerequisite approvals and all documentation is submitted accordingly, and leave it to the department to expedite or hold at that point.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Chair Coolidge and a second by Commissioner York. I will call the roll. Chair Coolidge,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner French Contreras,
Yes.
Commissioner York.
Yes.
With a total of 4 yeses, thank you. That motion passes with conditional approval.
Moving down to C1, the track safety report. Not sure if we need a formal update here, as we know neither of the tracks are running, but Mr. Hart, do you have any updates you need to present to the commission?
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, and good morning. Good morning, commissioners. I have been out to Turf Paradise for the last 3 or 4 weeks. My first trip out there was on October 23rd. At that point, I inspected the rail. The rail was in pretty bad shape, like it was to end the meet last year. However, I have been back every week since then, and every time I've gone back, there's been a 2 to 3 man crew working on the rail. The rail has not had many new materials put on it, but the rail today is probably the best I've seen it since I've been here the last 2 years. I see no safety issues with the rail. Everything is looks to be screwed down tight and looks to be safe. The barn areas, there was 6 barns, which is C3, D3, H3, K1, G3 and G4, which has had the copper wiring cut out. Been told that sometime in the next week or two, there'll be a crew that comes out, an electrical crew, to fix that. The other issues were the turf course and the water pump. The pump for the well has been fixed. They've been currently watering the turf course. On Tuesday of this week, we went out and saw that they were fertilizing and seeding the turf course. And on the grandstand, on the south side of the grandstand, there's a large chunk out of the side of the building that looks like it was damaged by a haboob that came through this summer. And some windows were blown out in the director's suite and in the clubhouse. On Tuesday, it looked like there was somebody working on the windows itself. And I would assume they're looking to replace those. We did not get to speak to the gentleman that was working on the windows. We took pictures, but that's all we have at this time. As far as the rail goes, my expertise or my opinion would be the rail looks very safe at this point. There's a couple things that don't look pretty with the rail, but it is absolutely safe in my opinion. And that's all I have right now, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hart, appreciate the overview and the thoroughness of that. I'm glad to hear that things are coming together, and hopefully the new owner will continue the progress, and appreciate you being on site there and making sure that that's all moving accordingly. Any other comments or questions from my commissioners? Thank you, Mr. Hart.
Thank you.
Ms. Latrina, you want to go ahead on the budget report?
Yes, sir. So, can you go to slide 1, please? I'm sorry. It's the number. There you go. Thank you so much. So here's the representation of what has been spent for the month of October. And so the RWA, the regulatory wage and assessment, we have spent the activity of $46,229,000. License fees for the month was $1,372. That was for boxing. License fees for racing was only $447. So the total collected for the month was $48,048. Below, we're going to show you the year to date for payroll expenses. We're at $111,624. We have legal costs at little under $25,000. And other contracted services like our temporary help was $8,234, bringing our total spend for the month of $144,322. Slide 2. Okay, so here's the cash balance. This is just showing you exactly what was spent, kind of what I went over in a format of what was spent for October. This is the racing cash balance. And then the slide 3 is basically the boxing cash balance, and it's showing you that we're under what we should be spending, or we're right at the part what we should be spending. We're on track of spending what is allotted for the year. Short and sweet. Did you guys have any questions?
Yes, please, I do.
Okay.
How, if all, is the lack of racing impacting the department's budget?
So we do have some dark days assessments right now, and so it's not impacting it quite yet, but as the time go on, depending upon how and when the racing start, it may, and so that would be depicted in my probably upcoming monthly report to you guys.
Okay, at what point would there be an issue if you look out to the future? Let's just say we don't race for 6 months. I mean, I'm just picking an arbitrary number.
Sure.
At what point is there, okay, we're in trouble? I mean, if you were to do a projection.
I can show you that next time. I can kind of drill down on that and see exactly when it would become an issue. That way we can know ahead of time. Would you like to see that?
Sure, I think that would be good information.
Okay, I can make sure.
Thank you.
Of course.
Great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Commissioner French Contreras.
Latrina, does your budget, since I don't have all the figures in front of me, does your budget include your staffing costs?
Yes.
And is it broken down if staff is shared with other departments in gaming besides the Racing Commission?
Yeah, so we do break it down on a bi-weekly basis. A percentage of everyone's salary who works with racing on racing items is calculated into that payroll and expense related expenses that you see there for 111,000 for the month of October.
There it is. Okay. And can somebody on the staff tell me if you still have open positions or understaffing for the department?
Not in racing. We don't have
Okay.
open positions.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Very welcome.
We'll drop down to C3, the report on the International Horse Racing Integrity Act. Mr. Gessman, are you on?
Yes, Chairman Coolidge, I'm here. And Commissioners, Leroy Gessman with the National HVPA. I really have nothing new to report on HISA as far as the court cases. We're still waiting on the judge's decision from the hearing we had last month. Hopefully we will hear in the next few weeks. We are still actively working on at the United States legislature on a replacement bill. I would like to mention though, as we are nearing hopefully some racing in Arizona soon. I would encourage that the department start working with HISA to get Arizona compliant with HISA, as much as I hate to make that recommendation, but it would just make it easier on the fees that we are being assessed, both the track owner and all the horsemen. We received our new assessments last month, and as expected, they went up substantially from the previous year. So I would encourage the department to look into working out a deal with HISA. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Otherwise, that's all I have.
Commissioner York?
Mr. Gessman, just a point of clarification, please. If the department, as you just noted, is not compliant with HISA, then it's incumbent upon HBPA and the tracks to pay those fees. Is that correct?
Well, there's fees assessed for the state.
Okay.
And the assessment can be reduced if the Department of Racing gets into an agreement with HISA, and then they would appoint department employees to do some of the HISA duties.
Okay.
For example, a HISA steward, or the work in the test barn, veterinarians. If we use state employees to fulfill the HISA employees position, then HISA doesn't have to hire people and send them in and bill the track and the horsemen for that. We would get a credit on our assessment. So if we could share in the, for example, a steward, one of the stewards would become a HISA steward as well, and he would make sure the HISA rules are being followed. Otherwise, like last year, HISA hired a steward, and we got billed for that steward's salary, expenses for being living in Arizona, being transferred, whatever. All those expenses are billed back to us, where we would get a credit for all that stuff off of our assessment if we work together.
Thank you, Mr. Guessman. Is it appropriate then to ask at the next meeting that the department give us kind of a status on what their thoughts are with the latest assessments and how they plan to proceed moving forward?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Is that something I need to move for, or can I just make the request?
You can make that
Commissioner York,
request.
I can address you now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The department did send a letter to HISA. I'd have to pull the letter up to get the exact date. We have not heard back from HISA on that. There's been several communications. I know that Mr. Sims has spoken with representatives of HISA and has asked them directly if they have reached out to the department, and they say they will, but they have not at this point. You know, in our letter, we ask that they reach out to us so that we can engage into the voluntary implementation agreement with them, and we have not heard back from HISA.
And I'm sorry, when did you say that letter was sent?
I said I'd have to pull it up to get
Oh,
you
okay,
that date.
but it's sometime between this meeting and our last one, I assume, based on what you're saying.
Yeah, it's been several months now.
Oh, it's been months. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Director.
Vice Chair Olson.
Thank you, Chair. And to Commissioner York's point, I think it'd be helpful for us to understand where our practices maybe depart from HISA's requirements, and if the department has recommendations on how to move forward, if they're addressing Commissioner York's points that she just mentioned.
Sorry, Vice Chair Olson. Was that directed to the department?
Yeah, that was just if the department plans to address Commissioner York's request, those are kind of additional information that I think would be helpful to include if they're going to come back with an update next meeting.
And I think what
Thank
we're
you.
saying is we would like more information.
Yeah.
Commissioners, we will attempt to reach out once again, and we will give a report next month on, you know, our success on that matter.
Thank you. Mr. Gassman, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I'll just add, I will make some contacts with the people I deal with at HISA and try and get the ball moving again. I have reached out before, and as Director Casillas has stated, they have been dragging their feet just to see what happens with Turf Paradise, I believe, but I will reach out to them again as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, any other questions or directions for the department? Perfect. Drop down to C4, the permittee reports, American Greyhound Racing. Arizona Downs.
This is Tom Author from Arizona Downs. Not much to report other than we are still working with Watch and Wager and are optimistic that we can put together a meet. Most of those negotiations are kind of around funding to get the meet going, and they've met with the horsemen. They've seem interested. We're optimistic we can get it going. We should probably know more at the next at the next commission meeting, but I just wanted to bring everybody up to date on that they're still in the hunt and we have progressed quite a bit on those negotiations.
Thank you very much. Look forward to hearing more about that next meeting. County Fairs.
This is Dr. Joanne DeFilippo from the Pima County Fair Horse Racing Commission. We are having our meeting on Monday, November 13th at 2 p.m. at the Parks and Recs building located at 3500 West River Road in Tucson. You can find our agenda and materials on the pima.gov website. I do want to point out two things. The county administrator did advise us that there is a $600,000 special revenue fund for capital improvements to Rillito Park. And I say the park in totality. What we have done on the Racing Commission is we've created the infrastructure subcommittee who will be looking at the electrical needs as well as the lack of proper water drainage on the backside. They will be preparing a report. A copy of that report will be sent to the county, the HPBA, and we can forward a copy to the Arizona Department of Racing to Director Casillas as if requested. The other thing is, and I'm just making note of this, in the county fairs, the county established this. We have both a racing commission and a nonprofit organization. Our nonprofit organization is selling a liquor license, a Series 6 liquor license. So we will be putting that out for notice, and those funds will be reinvested back into racing. And that's what we have right now.
Thank you for the report, ma'am. Any questions for my commissioners? Right, we'll move down to Rillito Park.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. This is Mike Weiss. I just want to bring out a little bit of positive news. Most of you know from our Rillito management, Miss Castui and her daughter Brandy, they have that Desert Oasis Rescue where they try and save and rescue every single horse that they can. This morning's news, the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance announced this morning that they have officially accredited her rescue. And I just wanted to mention that because I really deserve, she deserves a shout out and a congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for bringing that up as well. Turf Paradise.
Yes, this is Jerry Sims, Chairman Coolidge, Commissioners, Director Casillas. One comment first on HISA. I think it would be, I think there's money that was allocated by the legislature this last budget. And if we could find out how much that is. And I think that we should ask for the full amount. I think when they did it the first year, they didn't know what the amount was. And they put in, I believe, 300,000 in the budget. I think that, I'm told that was put in this last budget, but for the larger amount, now that we know what it is, or we'll know better once we're in one of the HISA tracks, we should request from the legislature in the January budget to have that put in. I have on the phone, next comment, I have on the phone, he's trying to figure out how to do the star 6. You have to go back to where the numbers are 1 through 9 on the phone, and then to the right is the star and 6 to unmute. But I have the gentleman that is in the process of purchasing Turf Paradise. His name is Richard Moore. He's the majority owner. I double checked with Director Casillas. He's the majority owner, buyer. And I'd like to introduce him so that he can say hello and have someone that you can hear from. Richard, are you able to go ahead?
Hi, Jerry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Hi, yeah. Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name is Richard Moore, and as Jerry said, I represent the group that's put in, that's in contract with Jerry to buy the Turf Paradise. And so we're going through that contract and executing that contract, and hopefully everything goes well, and we buy the track and we continue on with the racing there in Arizona. That's our main goal. We're very excited about this, looking forward to it. And we're getting up to speed on where it's at. I understand the conversation from earlier. I've been on the call from the start. I've heard about the repair on the rail, and I've already been in contact with Jerry, and I've already discussed a lot of the things that need to be done to bring the track up to par and to also to make it better and to move forward. And we're definitely committed to bring in the necessary funds and commitment and support to make this a destination. And we have a lot of dreams and hopes and things that we'd like to accomplish once we gain ownership. So there's some questions. If you take those now, I guess, or more information that you require.
Yes, sir. That'd be great. Commissioner York, I'll let you go first.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Could we please get an update on the timing for all of this? Specifically, are we still targeting January to open a meet?
Yes, we're looking to close before the end of the year as far as the purchase. I've been working with Mr. Casillas on the permitting. We're getting in the information, getting the application together, and to get approved for the gaming license, and so that's in progress.
Thank you. I'm just, so we're still targeting, do we have just an earmark for when opening day would be? If everything goes according to plan. I realize the future's hard, but it just would help to give us a sense.
Well, we're planning to put in for the race dates to start January the 13th, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, but to go through January to May. Yeah,
Great.
that is
Thank
the
you so
date.
much.
Sorry, that is the date, but Richard has gotten all of his papers. His fingerprint cards are in. And I remember from doing this 23 years ago that the paperwork is voluminous. Just to give you an idea, my daughter was 28 years old when I came into turf, and they wanted to know, and I had to show them where I got the money to buy her car her Toyota when she was 16, 12 years earlier. So anyway, it is a voluminous process. And it's a lot for the director to then have to do. And he's trying very hard, I know, to give us as quick as he can get it done, but he has to rely on others for background and so on. Thank you.
Commissioner York,
Thank you.
be heard, please.
I'm sorry, Director.
Yes, regarding your question on the proposed start date for January 13th, I just want to let the commission be aware of the fact that I did forward a letter to the commissioners regarding HISA, where they require a 90-day advance notice from any track before their implementation of racing. At this point, where we're at and not having a complete application, there may be a delay from January going forward. Racing may not start till February or March, depending on how things go with vetting and background investigation.
Yeah, I just want to
Director.
respond to that. Just want to respond to, I spoke to HISA, to Mark Guilfoyle at HISA, and he said that they could, as far as the work they have to do, they could probably get that done a lot quicker. They could work with our timeframes. Thank you.
And just as a follow-up question, it sounds like the purchase agreement contract is not finalized. Is that correct?
No, the purchase agreement contract has been done and we're in escrow now.
Okay.
Escrow papers were signed October 18th.
Okay, great. Appreciate that. I did see a hand raised, but no, I don't. Go ahead, Doc.
Yes, I thank you very much, Commissioner Coolidge. I have a question. If, assuming, let's say it was a start date of January 13th, what is an anticipated move-in date for Horseman?
30 days prior to that.
So we're looking at possibly a December 13th move-in date?
It's all dependent on how long it takes the department to do their work. They just got the paperwork all in, and they're probably still waiting for some more of it. But as soon as that can be done, that's for the department to do.
Okay, and given that, does that seem like it is actually a feasible, reliable timeline move-in date to look at?
I think it's ambitious.
What would be more realistic?
Well, I'm not saying it's not realistic. I don't know. It's going to be depend upon what Director Casillas has told us.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from my commissioners?
Not at this time.
Thank you very much. We'll drop down to the optional industry stakeholder association updates, Arizona Counties Racing Association. Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association.
Chairman Coolidge, Lloyd Yother, President of Arizona HBPA and the Arizona Quarter Racing Association. We have
Go ahead, sir.
We have nothing to report at this time. We're just continuing to wait to find out where the sale goes through or not. We're at everyone's mercy at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is Wendy McCumber. I'm the Secretary Treasurer of the Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. I just want to say good morning to the chairman, commissioners, and everyone else that's participating in this meeting. The ATBA would just like to say a special thank you to everyone that came out to our annual sale this year that was held on October 26th out at Horseshoe Park. And we really wish you all the best with all of your new purchases. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Jockeys Guild. Okay. Any other action items that any of my commissioners would like to place on future agendas?
Commissioner Coolidge, Lloyd Yother, Arizona HPP again. I was just speaking for the announced it was for both entities, the thoroughbreds and the quarter horses, but I do all I'd like to say about the Arizona HBPA is we're still in our if you will, I guess our state of confusion and how things are going down and what's transpiring, what's taking place. There's so many moving targets to this point. We still are at the mercy and going through our normal frustrations with how things are to come about. And as you are aware and heard from the director, with the advent of HISA, Mr. Moore, Mr. Sims, there's so many moving targets. We have no earthly idea when and if a meet will be performed at Turf Paradise. And our biggest concern at this point in time is we have a meeting tomorrow with the board, our HBPA board, whether or not to terminate our signal or move it forward to the 31st, giving the opportunity for all parties to get their act together and make this happen. And if not, the OTBs go away anyway, December 31st, because there's no scheduled meet. And like I stated earlier, it's just a exercise in frustration. And we'll know more at our board meeting tomorrow, and we'll get back with Director Casillas on what our decisions are with the signal, and hopefully it will be positive for the industry going forward. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that and apologize. I thought you were speaking on behalf of the Arizona Quarter Horse and HBPA, so I didn't mean to skip over you. Secondly, I'd like to direct Director Casillas, Mr. Yother, once you send word of what's happened there, to communicate that accordingly to the commission as a whole, if you don't mind.
Will do, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French Contreras.
Thank you. Just a couple of, I don't know if they're requests for agenda items, but possibly a couple of things. Latrina, would it be possible for the monthly report, accounting report, to be sent to the commissioners? I'd like to get a little bit more view on those numbers than just the presentation during the meeting, and they're not part of our packet. So I don't know if that's something that can be done for us.
Sure can. Do you want that done for this one, or do you want it going forward?
Yeah, could you go ahead and email those out? I'd appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate all your hard work. Thank you. I know it was a lot catching up.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is I've heard a couple of times about outstanding applications that are before our division. For example, the harness racing application, et cetera. Standard practice with any of the agencies that I've been involved in the past for the state required us to keep a list of pending applications as well as their status. And I think that would be a big benefit for the commissioners to have that information each month, to know what applications are in and what the status is, and if there's documents pending, because I get a little concerned when I hear that there's an application that's been sitting, and even though it probably is going through all the process it needs to go to, I don't like hearing about it last minute from someone else. I'd like to have a little bit of information on those applications. Is that something that we can consider doing?
Commissioner, absolutely. We can include that in our commission packet going forward.
That
And
would
just-
be great. I appreciate it. I know that you've been really tight on staff, and I hate adding more to it, but I think it'd be a big help to us so that we can make more informed decisions going forward as well.
Absolutely. And if you want to know any information regarding the harness race application, I'm more than willing to explain that to you.
Oh, I know. Rudy, you guys have been great, and I really appreciate it. Thanks. That's it, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I also had, I'm not sure, I had another hand raised. Mr. Author, I see yours.
Yes, Tom, thank you.
Commissioner,
Chairman Coolidge.
sir, 1 second. Commissioner York, did you have your hand raised?
You addressed it. I was going to ask something
Oh,
that you
okay.
asked earlier, which was that we be let know what the decision was from tomorrow's Arizona HBPA meeting. So you took care.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Author, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of reply to something that I think Lloyd said, which was the OTB network would be gone. Please don't forget that we're still around. That's the purpose of our partnership with Watch and Wager. We'll need to settle some accounts, and we will, and we'll get that done. But at that point, we would expect to get the signal and start reopening and expanding our OTB network. So all of these conversations have been around Turf Paradise and their network, but we don't plan on going away, and we plan on, as I said, getting the signal and growing our OTB network here, hopefully commencing at the next meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Yother? Sir, you're on mute.
To address Mr. Arthur's concerns, I'll let Director Casillas address that. When I state that the OTB system is gone. At this current time and date, the OTBs will be closed either tomorrow, Sunday, the 12th of November, or December 31st. They will be gone. What happens in the future, and if I could give it an example, I made a statement last commission meeting about HISA, that I asked that HISA come in and do their due diligence for the track so that we're not delayed any longer. And I guess some reporter or the news media picked it up that I am and the National HBPA is trying to get rid of and do away with HISA, but yet we're asking for their help. That the HISA at this date and time, just like the OTB system, is the law. It's the law of the land. So we have to take in consideration what HISA's requirements are. We're not in any way supporting HISA or supporting that the signal goes away indefinitely. I'm just reporting on what the law and the timing is at this time. I hope I didn't confuse you, but I made it clear. Thank you very much.
This
Thank
is
you, sir.
Jerry Sims. If I could, Chairman, if I could just comment on that for clarification purposes. Thank you. For clarification purposes, the new buyer buying Turf Paradise, if that deal closes escrow, all Turf Paradise's OTBs are then belonging to him. They go with the purchase of the track. I believe what Mr. Yoder is referring to is because if we don't put in for race dates, and then for 24, come 12/31, the end of this year, if there's no purchase of the tracks, then the OTBs go away under those circumstances, in which case I do have some plans of what to do with them. But anyway, that is where we presently sit. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you for the time.
All right, back to the commission reports. Do I have any commissioners that have matters to be taken up on for future agendas? I have one person signed, call to the public, Mr. Nolan.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be brief. One doesn't know where to start. I've tried to come to these meetings for, well, several decades, but over the past 10 years to bring awareness to some of the difficulties and lack of regulation that's led us to where we are. I think more clarity really needs to be stepped up with one thing. If we read the statutes, the Arizona Administrative Code on the permit application process, and then follow that up with the Arizona Revised Statutes, Title 5, Chapter 1, the applicable statutes for the permittee. It's extensive. The realistic, I think the department really needs to be transparent and on the timing of a permit application process. It's extensive. And people shouldn't be misled by thinking that it can be fast-tracked. It's been a couple times in the past, it's been fast tracks that have led us kind of where we are. But let's not go backwards here. So I'll be brief. There's so much said. There's so many people's lives just upside down. It could have been prevented with proper regulation and listening to those that lives and livelihoods are at stake. Seems like money, lawyers, and lobbyists have kind of gotten in the way, but I hope we can move forward. There's a lot on the line for a whole $100 million industry of a state. I know that you try and wish, I'm sure that I hope that you go home and wish that you could do more. I think that the legislature has empowered you to do more if you really just research what your duties and responsibilities are. And with that said, I just appreciate your time. It needs to be put on the record, the devastation that's occurring. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next regularly scheduled commission meeting will be at 10 a.m. on Thursday, December 14th, 2023 at 100 North 15th Avenue, Suite 202, provided the appropriate equipment and items are available for us. Otherwise, we'll be meeting via Google Meet. With that said, I will move for adjournment.
Second.
Thank you. With the motion by Commissioner Coolidge and a second by Commissioner York. I will take the roll call. Chair Coolidge,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner French Contreras,
Yes.
Commissioner York.
Yes.
Thank you. The time is 10:57 a.m. and this meeting has adjourned. Thank you. If everyone can please exit the meeting.
Thank you all.